Namaste, everyone. In today's topic, I wanted to speak about how to prepare yourself for the coming years, especially with the timeline shifting. And I recently watched a video on Master Sri Akarshana, and I got some of the information from him, and I was able to relate to that. So I thought I'll share that with you as well. My name is Priya. I'm very passionate about sharing positivity and empowering others to live their life to their fullest. We are all creators. We have the capability to create the life we want. So let's make it beautiful together. Let's dive in. So I wanted to today speak to you about how to prepare yourself for the new year 2022 and years to come. Basically, if you think about it, the timeline is shifting, and what I mean by that is every year it seems like it's going faster. There are sometimes we feel like, how did time fly? But then at the same time, certain things that we do, it seems like it was a long time ago, but yet it would have been like a few months ago. So sometimes it feels like it was in a different dimension, because that's how far away it seems as well. So what that means is that if you look back at 2020, there were a lot of changes happening. It actually started happening end of 2019, but most of us felt the impact in 2020. So what happens is, naturally as human, we are so like to be in our comfort zone. We're comfortable with how things are. We don't like change. And one thing you need to remember, change is the only thing that's constant. There's always going to be changes happening, and we need to adapt with it. And according to Darwin's theory, you need to be able to be adaptive, the survival of the fittest, basically. So if you're not adaptive, then you won't be able to survive. So if you look at the 2020, and with all due respect to all the people that struggled, that the people that lost their loved ones, it's very difficult. And those things actually teaches us to go inwards, go towards the inner world. At the same time, all the people, even if you didn't lose people, because of the isolation, all the single people that were like stuck at home alone, or even families who just couldn't manage everything all at once. And when work was happening at home, and the daycare was at home as well, when schooling was at home as well, all these things brought a lot of changes for people that felt like chaotic at the moment. And we were all wanting for the COVID pandemic to end, and we're like, when is it going to be over? When is it going to be over? We want to go out. But as humans, since we do adapt eventually, after a point when things were opening up, we were so happy to go out. But at the same time, most of us probably, when we went out, we didn't know how to communicate with people again. We didn't feel comfortable being in a large group of people again. And when they start doing that, then they kind of feel like, oh, actually, I felt happier when I was alone, or when I was by myself, or I felt happier just being with my family at home. So all these things that now we're like so used to, and when things are coming back out again, we don't want to move out again, because we're so used to being in the same old. So this is how things are. You have to realize this is how nature is. When there is a chaos, then there's some creation. And then when there's creation, good things happen, but eventually there's a cycle. Just like, those inflations going up, the house market going up, all these things that eventually crashes after 10, 12 years, it crashes, and then it comes back again. So the best way for you to prepare yourself is basically be mindful of all the things that matters to you. So one thing that you need to prepare is to know how to manage your wealth. Financial freedom is very important, and lots of people would have recognized that through the last 2 years, or last few years of going through the pandemic, where things just, for some people it was good because they started off doing things that they want. For some people, they lost their jobs, and that pushed them to find their passion. I actually know someone who was an engineer, and then they actually quit their job because they realized this is not their passion, and they actually became a writer because they wanted to write. So all these things, people are discovering themselves, rediscovering themselves. It's very unique during this pandemic time. but not to say that this might not continue in the next few years. So what the best way to do is basically make sure you're financially free. And for that, you need to start managing your wealth properly, because even if any sorts of other crises come, you need to know you can manage it. So that's one way. The second way is the last 2 years, if you notice, there's a lot of spiritual awakening happening. There's lots of gurus and masters online trying to bring people together, the togetherness, the oneness. And then there's still some, people doubting these things as well. And, you do what's good for you and what feels right for you. But what I'm trying to say is, when you are by yourself inside, it's not about physically being by yourself, but when you can calm your mind and go to the inner world, you connect to a very powerful source within you. And it's very important to start connecting that way, because then when chaos does happen, then you know where your inner peace is and you can find yourself there. So make sure in the coming years you start practicing more in spirituality, more towards the oneness, more towards feeling the oneness with others, and the togetherness with others, and then also feeling the love within you as well, because that's also important. Having self-respect, self-dignity, all that is important. So make sure you work on yourself for the next coming years. I would say forever. I feel like you always need to grow to have a life, to be able to live properly. So make sure you're always doing something where you're growing, where you're learning, and finding your passion and fulfilling your purpose. I hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, please click the like button, share this video with others. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe and click the notification button, as I'm very determined to creating weekly videos for you guys to motivate to live your life to the fullest. Until then, namaste.